Hey guys, good morning and welcome to another edition of Antoine and Friends. Guys, I'm so excited. I'm always excited, right? But I have a wonderful, wonderful guest with me today, guys. Miss Angela Harris. And she's here and she's going to be reading her book, Nightlight. And guys, you are really going to enjoy it. So, Angela, I'm going to let you introduce yourself and you can take it away.
Hi, my name is Angela Harris, and today I'll be reading Nightlight for you. It's a bedtime story, and it's about a bedtime story, and it's about a little girl named Ruth Ann and the process of getting her to go to bed. And she does any and everything to keep me going to bed. But it's a fun story, it's interactive, so there will be parts where you can count along with me. There's going to be rhyming, and so it's just a fun little story about a mom and her daughter. So listen up and get ready and put your ears on, and let's have some fun. And again, the title of the book is Nightlight. Hold it up. Ruth Ann's mother looked at the clock on the wall. She said, "It's time for Ruth Ann to get ready for bed." Then she called out, Ruth Ann, where are you?" Ruth Ann said, "Hiding, Mommy. See if you can find me." "Where shall I look first?" "I know where," her mother said. She went into the kitchen and pulled back the tablecloth. "I found you, Ruth Ann." Do y'all think Ruth Ann was hiding under the kitchen table? But Ruth Ann was not under the kitchen table. Her mother could hear her giggling in the other room. "You tricked me, Ruth Ann, but I bet I have guessed right this time." She quickly pulled open the closet door in the living room. Do y'all think Ruth Ann was in the closet in the living room? If you said she wasn't, you are right. Ruth Ann was not there. "I tricked you again, Mommy. I'm not in the closet." Ruth Ann's mother said, "You will not trick me again." "I know just where you are this time." She looked behind the bathroom door. Do y'all think Ruth Ann was hiding behind the bathroom door? If you said no, you might just be right. Ruth Ann was not there either. Oh, my dear, where could little Ruth Ann be? I have looked in, and this is an opportunity for y'all to count. I have looked in one, two, three places, and little Ruth Ann is nowhere to be found. She said, as Ruth Ann giggled, she said, "Oops, I'm sorry. I have looked in one, two, three places, and little Ruth Ann could she be invisible?" As Ruth Ann giggled, she said, "I'm not invisible, Mommy." Ruth Ann's mother pulled open the sock drawer and yelled, "Gotcha!" You think she was in the sock drawer? Ruth Ann said, "Silly Mommy, I'm too big to be in the sock drawer. Try again." Hmm, I guess I'm not very good at this game. I have looked in one, two, three, four places, and I cannot find little Ruth Ann anywhere. Maybe Bear Nightlight can tell me where she is. Bear Nightlight, have you seen little Ruth Ann? "No, I have not seen her," said Bear Nightlight. Giggling, Ruth Ann said, "Mommy, that was you. Nightlights can't talk." Bear Nightlight, I think I'm getting close. Could she be hiding under the bed? Do y'all think she's under the bed? Let's see. Her mother knelt down slowly and peeked under the bed. She could hear Ruth Ann giggling even harder. "So that's where you've been hiding." "I tricked you, Mommy. I really tricked you this time," said little Ruth Ann. So how many of y'all's favorite places to hide up under the bed? I know with my children, that was one of their favorite places. And sometimes they would stick their little feet out and I could see them and they thought they were fooling me. And then when I found them, they thought that was the funniest thing. So anyway, so if under the bed is your favorite place, That's a great place to hide. Just make sure your feet aren't sticking out. Yes, you did. It took me, and this is another opportunity for you to count. It took me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tries before I found you. Now pick out a few toys with you because it's time for you to take your bath. And little Ruth Ann says, 1 orange ball, 2 red trucks, 3 green blocks, 4 blue fish, and 5 yellow ducks. That's what I will play with in the bathtub. Now let's just stop for a minute. How many of y'all think little Ruth Ann's mom is going to let her take all those toys into the bath? Some of you said yes, some of you said no. Let's find out what Ruth Ann's mom said. Ruth Ann's mother sat down on the floor with her and smiled as she looked at all the toys Ruth Ann had chosen to play with in the tub. If you put all these toys in the tub, there won't be any room left for you. Let's pick out one of each type of toy. Ruth Ann said, okay, Mommy, 1 orange ball, 1 red truck, 1 green block, 1 blue fish, and 1 yellow duck. May I have at least 2 yellow ducks, Mommy? Please. What do y'all think Ruth Ann's mom said? Do you think she's going to let her have 2 yellow ducks? Well, let's find out. Yes, Ruth Ann. Now, please, let's carry the toys to the bathroom. They dropped the toys into the bathtub. Her mother turned on the water, and as the tub filled up with water, the toys floated on the top. May I have bubbles, Mommy? Lots and lots of bubbles. Do y'all think Ruth Ann has been good enough where she could get bubbles? Would you get bubbles? Would your mommy let you have bubbles in the tub? Let's see what Ruth Ann's mother says. Yes. Now in the tub you go, young lady. There were so many bubbles in the tub that Ruth Ann could hardly find her toys. Ruth Ann splashed the water and the bubbles everywhere. They flew in the air, and laughing, Ruth Ann's mother said, I've already had my bath. As the bubbles started to flow downward and one landed on Ruth Ann's nose. That tickles, Mommy. Ruth Ann's mother popped the bubble that had landed on her nose. Ruth Ann giggled even harder as she tried to pop the rest of the bubbles. How many bubbles can Ruth Ann count before they pop? This is another opportunity for you to count along. So I'm going to turn the book around and hopefully you'll see the bubbles. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I count 10 bubbles, Mommy. Ruth Ann was finished popping bubbles. It was time to get to the business of getting clean. Now, this is a little poem that Ruth Ann likes to say while she's taking her bath. So I want you to repeat along with me, okay? And you're at home, so you can be nice and loud. Suds, behind my ears, in between my toes, squeaky clean I will be when I am finished. Okay, out of the tub, young lady, before you turn into a prune. Yuck, I hate prunes. Do any of y'all like prunes? Me either. I don't like them either. Ooh. Anyway, the fluffy white towel Ruth Ann's mother wrapped around her made her look like a giant marshmallow. Who likes marshmallows? Me too. I like them toasted. That's a fun thing to do in the fall time too. So maybe that's something you and your parents could do together. I'm all dry, Mommy. May I put on my bunny pajamas? Yes, you may. And of course, this is another opportunity for you to participate and another way for Ruth Ann to prolong going to bed. But she likes to say this little poem. So I want you to repeat along with me, okay? Okay. Nice and loud. 1 leg in, 2 legs in, 1 arm in, 2 arms in, all zipped up nice and tight. Hop, 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 to bed I go. Now, how many bunny hops do y'all think it will take for Ruth Ann to go to bed? So let's count with me. I mean, to make it to her bed. Let's count along and see the little bunnies. One, two, I can't hear you. Three, four, somebody isn't counting. Five, six, seven, eight, nine, 10. 10 bunny hops for Ruth Ann to reach her bed. Her mother helped her get into bed and then pulled the covers over her and kissed her goodnight. As her mother turned to leave the room, Ruth Ann said, "Look how bright the stars are tonight. There must be millions of them. How nice for the animals. They have their very own nightlight, just like me, Mommy. They don't have to be afraid, do they?" "No, they don't, sweetie," said her mother. "Can we count the stars until I fall asleep?" Her mother sat down in the rocking chair beside her bed and they began counting the stars. How many stars do you think Ruth Ann can count before she falls asleep? Okay, somebody said 10. I think I heard 10. Somebody said 50, 100, a gazillion, a billion. Woo! Let's see. And this is your last chance to count. So count nice and loud and let's see what we come up with. And hopefully you can see the stars. It may be a little bit hard in the from this angle. But anyway, let's count. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine. Did somebody say 10? I thought I heard 10, but Ruth Ann didn't make it to 10. So what do y'all think happened to little Ruth Ann? You think maybe she fell asleep or did she forget how to count to 10? Let's see. Before Ruth Ann could say 10, if anybody says she went to sleep, you might just be right. Before Ruth Ann could say 10, she was fast asleep. Her mother kissed her goodnight and looked at the stars once more. Then she looked at Bear Nightlight and said, "I believe you have a little competition tonight, Bear Nightlight. Good night." Can y'all tell Ruth Ann good night? I think I heard it. A little, don't say it loud though, because you might wake her up. Can you say good night nice and quiet? Good night, Ruth Ann. Good night. Are y'all ready to go to bed? You got your pajamas on? Close your eyes. Go sleep.
Angela, I really enjoyed that. That was a really good read. Obviously, like I said, I had a chance to read it a few times. That was wonderful, and I'm sure some of our younger readers really enjoyed it. So
Well,
thank you for that. So of course, I gotta ask you, when did you know that you actually wanted to become an author?
when did I know I wanted to become an author? I've always enjoyed writing, especially when I was younger. Like most young girls, I had a journal. And then as I got older in high school, I started writing short stories and poems, and I would share them with my friends and family. But it wasn't until I actually got in high school and I read this book by Irma Bombeck, If Life is a Bowl of Cherries, Why I'm Always in the Pits. And that book was so funny. And I thought if I could make people laugh and just, give them that same feeling that I got from that story, that would be great. And that's why when I write a story, I try to put a little humor in it.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I like to hear some humor of that. Have kids laughing and things like that. So I'm with you on that.
Yes, and make it fun for them and enjoyable. And I try to each one of my books, I've written three, try to make them a little bit educational, but a whole lot of fun. And with the Nightlight book, they're counting, they're rhyming, and so they're having fun, but they're learning at the same time, and they don't even know it. So that's great.
Oh yeah, I love that education aspect. For the kids to learn unknowingly, right? It's because they're just having so much fun. So
Right.
yeah, I like that. That is cool. And did you have a mentor? Because I
Uh,
always like to ask that.
I did. I had two pop out in my mind at this moment. One of them was the teacher where I took a creative writing class with, And I had actually written the Nightlight story while I was taking the class, and he read it and he loved it. And he said, "You should pursue this. You should do something with it." And then there was another person. Is it okay if I say her name?
Oh, that's fine.
Okay, her name is Gail Gunn, and she was a librarian, and she was all Team Angie, and she even allowed me to come into the school where she worked at to read the story, the Nightlight book, before I had ever even had it published. And so I had made this little like scrapbook, and I read it for a class, and they absolutely loved the story. And so when I did that, then I knew to, when they were really receptive of it, it was like, hey, you can go ahead and do this. And so once I got the book published, she invited me back to the school and I got to read it again for the children. So that was really cool. And the funny thing was the kids wanted the little scrapbook. They were like, "Can we have a scrapbook?" I said, "No, no, no." You wait till it gets published.
That's cool. Like I said, it's always good when kids are excited, right, about what they read and about what they hear. So that's I like that. Um, are you working on any books right now?
I am. It's a book called Timmy Tuttle and the Giant Toothbrush, and it's about obviously a turtle, and of course want to make it fun, but about a turtle that doesn't want to brush his teeth. And the reason why that story came about, because my kids when they were young they didn't want to do that, and they would even like I'd say, "Did you brush your teeth?" And they'd be like, "Yes." I checked the toothbrush. I'm like, "Well, why isn't the toothbrush wet?" So that's where that story came from. But it's just a fun story. And Timmy goes through all this stuff trying not to brush his teeth. And then at the end of the story, he realizes, hey, need to brush my teeth.
He does.
Yeah, and when he goes to the dentist and he gets a good report, he's so happy.
That's good. What was your inspiration for writing your books?
Basically, just the love of writing. And then most of my stories are based on just a little bit of things that, like I said, with the Nightlight book, it was my children, and then the Rusty's Grand Slam book. Shake this one. Bullying is, I guess it's up high enough. Bullying is a big problem, and so that's what generated the idea for this book. But it's also done in a fun way because the characters they build a friendship and then they turn those negative comments into something positive. And so, like Rusty, he gets picked on for being small, but then he says, "I'm going to be a famous baseball player." And so the different characters get picked on for different reasons, but they turn those negatives into positive. Like one of the characters dresses kind of quirky, and so she says, "Well, I'm going to open up a vintage boutique when I grow up." So it's that kind of thing.
So what is the message that you want readers to get from your stories?
Basically, enjoy the love of writing, but that you can overcome obstacles. Other than Ruth Ann, because her only obstacle is not wanting to go to bed. But the Tabby's Great Adventure book, Tabby is a cat, and she gets adopted, and so it's just showing that positive things can come out of what is seemingly a negative experience. And she builds a friendship through the story, and it has some wonderful experiences. And the same thing with Rusty's Grand Slam. The characters in that build on, like I say, that negativity and turn it into something positive and not react in a hostile manner. So I wanted to get that across too. And finding those support systems when you are being bullied.
Yeah, those are great. To be able to turn a negative into a positive. Yeah, I really believe kids need to hear that a lot, right? It's not about everything that's negative, but how can you turn that negative into a positive? How can you find a bright spot in that bad situation, right? So that's
Exactly.
so I definitely like that. Um, have you ever been acknowledged as an author, recognized as an author when you were out in public?
I have, and it's because you don't think that's going to happen, but it does. And when it does happen, it's like, oh, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. It's a validation that what you're doing is worthwhile and good. And a teacher approached me, and it's happened more than once, but this is the one that just kind of sticks out of my mind. a teacher approached me one day and she was like, "Aren't you the person that wrote the book?" And I was like, "Yes." And we talked about it a little bit. And the Nightlight book I actually turned into a play. And so she invited me to her school to perform the play. And so the children they really enjoyed it because again, it's interactive. I have boxes. And when I made the boxes, I was like, they're gonna think this is so hokey, because everything is so tech now, so advanced. But when they walked in, they were like, wow, what are we gonna do with these? And so again, they get to open, they get to help me look for Ruth Ann, and they really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. And I have a bubble machine, and the bubbles go up in the air, so they get to actually count. But when I put that bubble machine on you, woo, anyway, I always ask because that's the part where they're just gonna really go woo.
Oh yeah, the bubbles are everything when it comes to kids. It gets them so excited, and their energy's all over the place. So yeah, I like that.
It
That's
does, and
cool.
I even do like marshmallows. I throw them out, and then because they're counting the marshmallows, because I had to add a little bit to it once I turned it into a play. So they get to count the marshmallows, throw them out, fun, balloons, just lots of fun.
And I'm glad you had the opportunity to turn it into a play. So that was great. That was really really good because kids love that interaction, right? So I think that was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. And the Rusty's Grand Slam book, I also did that one as a play, and then the funds from that went to an organization, Big Brothers Big Sisters. So we took the ticket sales and donated all that money to that organization. So that was nice, and we actually got to use children from the local schools, and some of them had never been in a play, and then we used some of the adult teachers. They did parts because I did like a dreamscape. And so the teachers were like the children as adults, and their dreams had actually come true.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was
Um,
lots of fun.
no, that's cool. I really like that. So as a child, who were some of your favorite authors? When you were growing up.
My favorite authors were, when I was coming up, it was the classics, like Peter Pan, favorite stories, Alice in Wonderland, Sleeping Beauty. And my mom had this giant, I mean, it was a huge, maybe it was because I was little, but it looked really big to me. And I got to pick out a story each night of which one I wanted to read. And typically it was Peter Pan because I loved him because he could fly. So I thought that was cool. And of course, Dr. Seuss, Green Eggs and Ham. Who doesn't love that story? So
So have those authors influenced you in any way?
definitely, as far as the creative process of it, and just even because when I was writing in high school, it was mostly just like I said, poems and stories. Never did children's book, but then I reflected back on how those stories were written, so that allowed me or taught me how to craft the children's story.
Cool. Yeah, I like to look back on some of my past influences, just as a refresher, and how I can continue to improve my creative juices. So they definitely play a huge part in our, career. So I always like to ask, like, hey, who, influenced you, you were growing up? Because those things, they stay with you, right? Those things that you read, it's like they never go away. Some of those classic lines or scenes you may hear in a movie or books, like they're always with you.
Exactly. And what I remembered about those stories were they were engaging. And so when I wrote my stories, I tried to make sure they were engaging and got because you actually felt like you were in that story. And so that's what I tried to do when I wrote mine. And the funny thing is with this Tabby's Great Adventure, when I was doing a book signing, the dad was paying for the book, and the child was reading the book while he was waiting for his father. And so he was reading the story, and I could hear him giggling. And I said, okay, good. He gets my quirky sense of humor. I've written it right. I've done it right.
If the kid's laughing, you got it right. So
Exactly.
that's good. And I wanted to ask you, as a outside of your career as an author, what do you normally do?
What do I normally do? I enjoy writing I said riding. I enjoy I enjoy riding bikes, going for nice walks, and especially nature walks because inspiration can come from anywhere. So those walks are great for that. It's great for relaxing the mind. And I also my favorite thing to do is cook because cooking is another creative expression, and I enjoy preparing a nice meal and having people enjoy my food. So, and then of course that's good conversation and everything, but definitely cooking.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I like to eat. Maybe I cook so much, but eating, I could do that really well.
Yeah.
Um,
And finding new recipes. And I always tell people, like people say, "Oh, you made this." I'm like, "Yeah, but I angified it." So even when I find a recipe that I like, typically I'll tweak it to my taste and do something a little different to it.
oh, great. And do you have any advice for any aspiring authors who may be watching us here today?
Just love what you do, enjoy the process. Don't get caught up in, oh, I've got writer's block, because I even teach a workshop on how to get past writer's block. So, and don't try to keep the, because when I write, I don't keep my story in order. I might come up with the ending before I come up with the beginning or the middle. So just enjoy the process of it. Talk to people, let them know what you're doing, because I promise you, they will hold you accountable. And when I first started this journey with the Nightlight book, I was dragging my feet about it, and I would have a friend that would say, "Hey, how far have you gotten? Are you finished with the book?" So that's gonna make you finish the story because you're gonna get tired of the mess.
That's true.
And yeah, and surround yourself with like-minded people. People that like to write. I joined a writers group. That's encouraging. You get that feedback. So do that and just enjoy the process.
Excellent tips, especially that last part, like saying, enjoy the process. And Angela, before we go, is there any way our viewers can get in contact with you?
They can go to my website. I mean, not my website. Excuse me. They can email me at harrisa717gmail.com, and then of course Facebook. But make sure you type in Angela Denise Harris because there are a gazillion Angela Harrises.
So, guys, make sure you contact Angela Denise Harris on Facebook. And like I said, contact her by email as well. Angela, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to connect. And I love your books. I'm sure our audience enjoyed it. And guys, what can I say? Just another fun edition of Antoine and Friends. Angela, thank you again for coming. And thank you to the Prince George's County Memorial Library System for giving authors a place to shine. So, guys, again, until we meet again, I want you to enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you on another episode of Antoine and Friends. Bye, guys.